All right, on Christmas Day, Kansas City goes into Pittsburgh and thoroughly dominates a game 29-12, in which they now have locked up home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and it very impressive in doing so. And Patrick Mahomes, again, was near flawless on what's supposed to be an injured ankle. Certainly didn't look like it. And it just, was surgical, really, from him. And the offensive line played another great game. It's kind of been reworked. They got Joe Tooney now, their all-pro left guard, playing consistent at left tackle. And their once horrible left tackle is now playing well at right tackle, giving up no sacks to a pretty good defense in Pittsburgh. And again, now Kansas City gets to rest whoever they want the following week in Denver. And Chris Jones probably might be one of them, since he left this game with a strained calf. Could be Patrick Mahomes sitting on the sidelines again. By the way, the Steelers gave up 5 sacks, and that's without Chris Jones playing for Kansas City. So, again, very impressive down the stretch, and all things pointing up in Kansas City's direction leading into the playoffs. And then we switch over to the later game where Baltimore thoroughly took care of Houston I think it was 31-2. So kept Houston out of the end zone and away from the even kicking field goal. And Lamar Jackson was just unbelievable. And here's a perfect example. Late in the second quarter, Houston's going down in the red zone, and Baltimore forces a turnover on downs at their own 1-yard line. And Lamar Jackson kind of, improvises inside and outside of the pocket, extending plays and creating havoc down the field on passes. Ends the 99-yard touchdown drive with another scramble pass to Isaiah Likely in the end zone. And it's just a thoroughly dominating performance. Derrick Henry ran for well over 100 yards. And Baltimore now, once again, looks like another dominant team potentially in the AFC. Then looking ahead to games coming up today, in fact, the Seahawks go into Chicago to play the Bears. Seahawks have been stumbling a little bit lately themselves. Now at 8-7, they're a game behind the Rams. And they're going into Chicago, though, who themselves have struggled and are on a 9-game losing streak, sitting at 4-11. And Seahawks are fighting now for their playoff lives, have to win this game. The Bears are playing for respectability and, no doubt, everybody's job. And then you've got coming up Saturday, there's a key game with the Cardinals at 7-8 going to SoFi to play the Rams at 9-6, now atop that division. And winners of 4 straight, the Rams are. And offensively, they're playing great. Puka Nacua is dominating a receiver, and just offensively, they're very impressive. During that 4-game streak, by the way, they've scored as many as 44 points, where they beat Buffalo 44-42. They've scored as few as 12 points, where they beat San Francisco away and held them to 6 points. So, again, this is a Rams team that's hitting its stride at the right time of the season. And, if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, I would put my money on the Rams here straight up. And then Sunday, we got the Packers at 10-4 going to Minnesota to play the Vikings at 13-2. And themselves, the Vikings, are in a race to lock up the home field advantage and the number 1 seed, locked in that race with the Lions. And so this will be an interesting game because the Packers are hot too, and tough to be at the record that they are, and still, they've clinched a playoff spot, but nothing more in Green Bay. And so it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. And then Monday night, I'll be in San Francisco for the Lions taking on the 49ers. The Lions, again, are banged up, as are the 49ers, but the Lions seem to have found a way each week nearly to win a game, and we'll see what happens here. But the 49ers at home. No one knows what's going to happen. Obviously, it was the site of last year's NFC Championship game where the 49ers came back in the second half to win that game and go on and play in the Super Bowl. So the 49ers would love nothing more than to play spoiler against the Lions in their bid to maintain that number one seed against the Vikings. So there you have it. And we'll see what happens here leading up into the weekend.